I used to love to lecture at colleges. I've probably done more of that than any man alive. I've been to every school in America, probably twice at least. Anyhow, I would talk to the guys and I would speak for a few minutes, then I'd open it up to questions and answers. That's what I love, because then you're really talking to people. I would get more questions about the Silver Surfer, especially from the brightest people in the audience. Somehow they'd be interested in the philosophy and the message and why he spoke that way and how I felt about him and blah, blah, blah. Wherever I went, and man, I got a kick out of that.
The Surfer's popularity really came from the fact that he was the outsider, trapped on Earth, and he allowed us to hold up a mirror to a lot of what was going on at the time, to take a look at the things that were wrong with society, that were wrong in the world. And I think that's a classic science fiction trope. You can always address what's going on outside your window a lot more easily with, you know, a guy who rides a silver surfboard than you can with flesh and blood people.
The Surfer has never been choosy, he's been more of a cult character. You know, within that universe, certain people respond. And so he was a fascinating character to begin with, because in the beginning he was he was completely cold and learning about humanity, and then he makes this phenomenal sacrifice. He sacrifices everything, all this power, the entire universe, to help these people. You know, so he becomes a fallen angel, he becomes Jesus. Any metaphor you want to throw toward it, it'll work, you know?
The great thing that Marvel did was find a way to talk to people who were older about comics, to give them more adult relationships and so on and so forth. They really caught the college audience. That was their first thing. They were able to do stuff that the Superman and Batman and the more traditional heroes had not done. They had really never grown out of this ghetto of childhood that they were stuck in. And Marvel opened up a whole new universe.
The Surfer was an interesting character in the fact that he had have almost limitless potential, but the character is only as good as what is being done with it by the writer and the artist team that has it. I was a kid when the Silver Surfer first appeared. He was an incredible character, a noble creature himself. He was working for, you know, a very hungry giant who was going to do in Earth. It was an incredible story.
We were doing a Fantastic Four story, and I wanted Galactus to be the villain. I was very proud of the Galactus that I had dreamed up, you know. I said to Jack, make him the biggest guy you can draw. He's a demigod. Make him look like a demigod. He's a guy who destroys planets. And he doesn't do it because he's cruel, it's because he's hungry. He eats their energy. So he goes through the galaxy, or maybe through the universe, finding planets that have enough energy to sustain him. I thought I was a genius with this idea. So I got the artwork, and there was some nut on a flying surfboard running around. I hadn't told Jack anything about that. I said, who's that? He said, well, I figure anybody who's as big and powerful as you say Galactus should be, he shouldn't have to go and search for planets to eat by himself. He would have somebody, a herald, who goes ahead and does it. And that was all. I mean, to Jack, he was a herald. He was going to find planets, and he only had them in a few panels.
The first time I can remember seeing the original Surfer material, the stuff that Jack and Stan did in FF 48 through 50, and they were all my brother's comics. And you know, I was 4 or 5 maybe, and we sort of would paw through that box every once in a while when my brother wasn't looking. And I can remember those issues in particular always kind of weirded me out, because the Kirby artwork was always, you know, kind of grotesque to my 5-year-old eyes. But it was a grotesque that you couldn't look away from. So I kept going back to those issues, even though, you know, they probably gave me nightmares the night thereafter.
I always found Galactus's and the Silver Surfer's relationship really kind of strange. Here was this rather honorable and downright noble creature floating around in space on this surfboard and looking terrific, but